Hey guys, before I begin the review, I want to share some good news. We'll be releasing the Digimon Adventure Last Evolution Kizuno review on Wednesday. I know it's late, but you know what they say, save the best till last. But in all seriousness, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's over an hour long. I know you guys like it when I go into detail in my reviews, and believe me, we go into detail heavily in this film. So please guys, subscribe and hit that notification bell. As soon as that monster of a review is released on Wednesday, you will be notified. And again, I hope you guys enjoy it when that video is released on Wednesday. But now, let's get on with the review. DonDevimon's Rampage. DonDevimon eats Tai. Machinedramon's Dark Evolution. Wargreymon finally arrives. These are the headlines coming out of this week's episode of Digimon titled The Final Stage Donedevimon. So let's look at the good, the bad, and the straight up ugly from this week's episode of Digimon Adventure 2020. Let's start off with the good. The start of the episode reminded me of the original when Venomaiosman made his entrance back in the original. The sky changed to red, the epic choir playing in the background. It felt like a finale against the main antagonist in a death match. Enter DonDevimon. Tokumon said Devimon digivolved, yes, but Devimon isn't Devimon anymore, but the mind is, and he just stops talking there. We all know what he's talking about, that Devimon lost his mind digivolving himself into his megaform. I'll talk more about that later on in the review, and I'll explain why it's an issue for me personally. I love the miasma arms that DonDevimon has. He's using them to deflect attacks and use them as a weapon as well. I do like the arms. It reminds me of Venomaiosman because he also had those big chunking arms. But the rest of the design I'm not really a fan of, if I'm honest. He's basically a demonic spider. His face, however, suits the form, and it reminds me of Venom from Spider-Man. The face matches the personality perfectly. He had this goofy smile throughout the entire episode. It did make him look very creepy, like Kid Buu back in the Majin Buu saga at the end of Dragon Ball Z, where he also had that creepy big demonic smile on his face. And if you can hear, there's a double laugh whenever DonDevimon laughs. There's the high-pitched screech as well as that deep demonic toned out laugh in the background. It just adds to the creepiness of this Digimon. As both the arms come closer to crush both Tai and Matt, Tai remembers that TK is also here, so he pushed Matt away to take the full brunt of that attack. I like this from Tai. Actions speak louder than words. He didn't want TK to see Matt getting hurt, so he took the full force of that attack himself. That was badass from Tai, showing that he's more of a well-rounded leader this time, and a very thoughtful leader as well. Over in the network world, we have the Angemon multiplied in their thousands. This is 100% Izzy, Sora, Mimi and Joe's very own Wargame storyline, and I'm loving it. Turns out that the ships are crashing into each other all over the world. But why is Angemon targeting the ships? Because in the first 3 episodes, when Angemon targeted those trains to collide into each other, at first I thought it was just to explain to us how the network world works and how it affects the real world. But now that I think about it, Kari was on that train. Kari being one of the partners to the Holy Angel Digimon. I think Angemon was trying to kill Kari with those trains crashing into each other. But here, Angemon is targeting the ships. And not only that, the ships from all over the world, which means the specific target that he's looking for, he is struggling to find them. But he believes that his target is in a ship somewhere in the world. It could be a member of the International Digidestin, who is also partnered up with the Holy Angel Digimon. Could it be Willis? He had one of the Holy Angel Digimon as his partners back in the original Digimon Adventure storyline, so why not bring that back here in Digimon Adventure 2020? Weregarurumon got absolutely wrecked by DonDevimon, but I liked how Weregarurumon used his lasers in his Sagittarius mode as a pathway to attack DonDevimon, but then DonDevimon grabs both Matt and Weregarurumon, uses this demonic fire breath attack, and then slams them into the ground, de-digivolving Weregarurumon back into Gabumon. There's no way Matt is alive after that. I know the Digidestin have superhuman strength, but him surviving that would be insane. And of course, he does. Tokumon creates a force field to protect him and TK from DonDevimon's attack. DonDevimon is using his miasma hands to try and break the force field. But as that was happening, Tai was getting more and more angry, seeing Matt getting taken out, TK hanging on in the force field but being attacked relentlessly by DonDevimon. The pressure was building. The miasma on his arm was also pushing him to anger and darkness as well. Everything was just too much, and Tai just snapped. The miasma started glowing, his eyes went all black. Even Metalgreymon went all black. covered in darkness. I thought for a second he was gonna either Dark Digivolve to Machinedramon or even Black WarGreymon. Well, you can say that happens, but in a twist kind of way. This reminded me of Skullgreymon episode all over again. But this time, Tai was also possessed by the miasma. And speaking of the miasma, I think the combination of Tai's anger and the dark miasma is what gave Metalgreymon that extra strength to pin down DonDevimon. As we have seen throughout the story so far, it's the miasma that gives the evil Digimon that extra strength. Even though Metalgreymon right now is not evil, his partner Tai is in full rage mode, which is a negative dark emotion. So even though Metalgreymon isn't an evil Digimon, the dark emotions being carried out by Tai is a substitute condition for that. DonDevimon eats Tai. What the hell happened here? We have seen Digimon being eaten by other Digimon before. Cherubimon ate both Magnamon and Rapidmon in that O2 movie, so we have seen it before, but the way Tai got eaten here was just a madness. When Tai started screaming and his eyes turned red, that's when the episode takes a dark turn in terms of it being so dark. I didn't expect Tai to get eaten like that, and it just happened so suddenly as well. Metalgreymon loses it even more, and it looks like he was on the verge of fully digivolving into Machinedramon, because Tokumon says Metalgreymon's anger is making him mindless, and if he carries on, he will end up like Devimon. So he's on the verge. It's like, you know, the Digivolution sequence where they're still in their silhouetted data form of the Digimon that they're about to digivolve into. That's what he was like. He became an undigivolved Machinedramon. When he became that, he was proper taking the fight to DonDevimon, dominating DonDevimon in fact. This episode is just wow. It reminds me of season 3, the episodes with Jerry. It's on that level of just what the hell is going on. You had Tai getting eaten, you had Matt and Weregarurumon almost murdered, Tai being possessed by demonic energy, Metalgreymon losing his shit, digivolving into one of the Dark Masters, almost. DonDevimon himself is one of the creepiest Digimon ever. Yeah, this episode is something else. Guys, comment down below what you guys think of this episode in terms of the tone of the episode. Did you guys enjoy it? Did you guys hate it? Comment down below. I am interested in hearing your thoughts. DonDevimon is pinned to the ground by an undigivolved Machinedramon. He uses his wings to shield himself, and we've seen it before. They used that shield to block one of the Ultimate Digimon's attacks. But the undigivolved Machinedramon just bites the wings off. That was just savage. He owned DonDevimon with that move. TK and Tokumon used the power of the Crest of Hope to try and get Angemon to talk some sense into Metalgreymon before he fully digivolves into Machinedramon. I can't lie, that scene was solid, especially when Agumon bursts out of the miasma screaming Tai's name. But personally, I don't think you needed Angemon to do that. For me, I think it would have been more impactful if Agumon managed to come out of his dark evolution by himself, realizing that he's letting his anger of Tai being eaten get the better of him, instead of having a cool head to save Tai. I get why Angemon was used, because he's an angel of hope and he gave Agumon that hope in that scene. But guys, think about it. Imagine Agumon being conflicted with anger and is on the verge of digivolving into Machinedramon. And Agumon realizes this, but he knows if he digivolves into Machinedramon, he will be guaranteed to win the fight and save Tai. But in the process, he will lose himself forever into the darkness by being Machinedramon. Imagine him realizing that, and he refuses that option and starts to calm himself down, believing that there will be another way to defeat DonDevimon. He doesn't have to digivolve into Machinedramon, even though if he does, he will win the fight and save Tai. He will have that hope somehow that he will beat DonDevimon, but mainly it's courage. Because that's what it would have been, courage. It takes bravery to give up the easy option and go for the unknown, which is what would have happened. He has the hope that he can save Tai, and it took bravery to refuse to digivolve into Machinedramon. That courage then triggers Tai's Crest of Courage, digivolving him into Wargreymon for the first time. I think seeing it unfold like that would have been better, rather than Tokumon and TK be the special ones to give that pep talk to Agumon to calm him down. What do you guys think? Would you have preferred Agumon coming out of the darkness by himself, or did you think it was cool with Angemon doing the pep talk? Let me know in the comments down below. Out of the miasma came Wargreymon, slicing through the miasma and ending DonDevimon's nightmare once and for all. I love Wargreymon. He's the Goku of Digimon. His design, his attacks, everything. I can't lie, I was so excited to see him, even though it's only for a few minutes. He's still so badass and cool. Tokumon digivolved to Patamon. The episode ends with an earthquake. Are we going to see another form of Devimon? Guys, I don't watch the previews for the next episodes or even read the spoilers. So please guys, if you have read the spoilers or watched the previews, please keep it spoiler free in the comments. Now let's go over the bad. Yo guys, remind me, when did Tokumon have the ability to shield himself against a Mega Level's attack? That's insane. I get the Holy Angel Digimon are special, and in this series especially, they're trying to make the levels irrelevant. Any Digimon can do damage to another Digimon despite the level, but an in-training form Digimon blocking a Mega's attack, that's way too much. I'm not going to let that slide. Even if it was Angemon, I still think that's too far. Angemon was getting destroyed by Patamon back in the original, so how is an in-training form Digimon blocking a Mega level Digimon's attack? I thought that was just too much. Now they're ugly, and we don't have many of these in this series, but it really bothered me, and I'm a guy who doesn't look for flaws or any negative points of the episodes. Check most of my reviews, I am always praising the episodes so far in this series. This was more or less a two-part episode, with last week's episode and this week's episode. The death match with Devimon as the main villain against Tai and Matt. But Devimon was so disappointing. I hated the fact that he became a mindless villain. Throughout the whole season so far, Devimon has been built as this master tactician, cool and calculated. He always has a backup plan whenever things go wrong. The past two episodes, he lost that cool factor and became a generic boss monster instead. It was like in Power Rangers Dino Thunder when Mesogog was this ice cold villain, but then he became this mindless monster right at the end. Why did they do that? Turning Devimon into a monster doesn't make him threatening. It was Devimon's planning that made him so threatening. He was winning so far in this series. He had Angemon captive, and Angemon is a beast. To have him captive is no small feat, but right at the end he became one of Rita's monsters. Even in the last episode, he was dominating the ultimate Digimon in his regular champion form. He didn't need to digivolve into Neodevimon. The build-up was so good with Devimon, and then to turn him into this, I did not like that. It's not the power that's threatening, it's the mind. He could take over the real world and the digital world by not even getting up from his chair. Ken, when he was the Digimon Emperor, he was just a human. He didn't have any powers, but he still managed to take over the digital world with his brain. That's what made him such a good villain. And Devimon could have been like that, but it is what it is. Thank you for watching this video guys, and again guys, the Kizuna review is coming out on Wednesday, so stay tuned for that, and as always, care for nothing.